Here we got a 1963 split window coupe, split window, which I can tell you, that was not something that was even like, sometimes you think some things turn into, a real rare classic many years later. In the early 70s, a split window was, a rarity. And everybody's like, oh, it's a split window, So you got 327, assembled July 1963. Actual odometer mileage. This is pretty much an original repaint, but all original. The engine looks like everything's bone stock in here. You got your old AC type compressor, no the aftermarket stuff. So you got 327 engine, 340 horse. The 327 was a potent little engine. Sometimes a lot of people say, "Oh, the big block Corvette." The 327 was lighter, and the Corvette with the small block handled better. Thing is, with the 327, you'd have to rev it up a little more. You'd have to have the gearing on it, stuff, get the the max, get you realize your horsepower. But it sounds nasty revved up, and it really goes. Carter AFB, carburetor, power brakes, power steering, Borg Warner 4-speed, 336 gears. That's a good ratio. You got some performance, but you can still cruise down the highway. Some of these guys, I remember we used to go down to the beach, New Jersey. Some of the guys that had like 410 axles, but part of it they made up for was the tire size, because if you had bigger tires, the 410 might be like a 370 or a 355, because you had bigger tires on it. Remember back then, the biggest tire you can get, absolute biggest, I think it was in the early 70s, was an L60 15. They didn't have 50 profile. They didn't have 45s or 40s, or they didn't have 18-inch and 17-inch. They had 15 L. L was did these letters. So, that brought down that 411. He had, I know it's 410, 411, depends on, the manufacturer is, but he had a 411 in that, I think in the Mustang. And, I think going down the beach, he was like screaming, you going down the highway, to it, I was screaming. That was in a Ford. So, but a lot of Corvettes, they came with the 410 and 411 gears. And you didn't have the overdrive. So this with the 336 is a nice, ratio. You got some performance. Usually got like a 308, 273. 273 would be economy. I had a 323 in the Roadrunner, Plymouth. That's a typical one. It's a good all-around ratio.